What do you get when a millennia-old wind god with a drinking problem, a dead best friend, and a pathological fear of responsibility decides to play deity? A divine train wreck so chaotic it makes the abyss look like a timeshare seminar. Meet Venti, Mondstadt's absentee Archon, professional bard and Teyvat's original hot mess express. From toppling tyrants with hurricane-grade side-eye to forging contracts he'll never honor. Sorry, Zhongli. This is the story of how freedom became a drunkard's punchline and why every hero needs a therapist, or at least another bottle. Buckle up, mortals. This ballad's got more twists than Decarabian's Stormwall and twice the emotional damage. Mondstadt's origin story begins not with rolling green hills, but with a frozen wasteland caught in a divine custody battle. Decarabian, the self-proclaimed god of storms, ruled from a tower of swirling wind, convinced his hurricane walls were protecting his people from Andrius, the wolf of the north. In reality, his subjects lived like lab rats in a wind tunnel, their homes reduced to rubble by his tantrums. Children played dodge the flying roof tile, and dinner was whatever the gales blew into your lap. Meanwhile, Andrius, the god of frost and fangs, prowled outside the storm walls. His blizzards were so vicious they could freeze a vision wielder mid-skill. The people of Old Mondstadt faced a choice: suffocate under Decarabian's care, or freeze to death under Andrius. Spoiler, neither was great for property values. Enter the nameless bard, a scrawny musician with a voice that could crack stone. He didn't carry a sword, just a lyre and a death wish. Alongside him marched Amos, a huntress whose arrows were rumored to pierce divine ego, and a red-haired knight whose family would later found the Dawn Winery. Yes, that Dawn Winery. Their rebellion wasn't a grand army. It was a ragtag group of idealists armed with hope and a severe lack of survival instincts. Barbatos, a wind spirit no bigger than a Seelie, tagged alongside because, well, what else does a wind spirit do? Polish clouds? He flitted through battles, carrying whispers of encouragement and occasionally tripping Decarabian soldiers with well-timed gusts. When the bard died singing a final hymn of defiance, Barbatos absorbed the collective grief of the people, a cosmic glow-up that turned him into the Anemo Archon. Barbatos' first act as a god? Cosplay. He molded his new body to mirror the dead bard, braids and all. Historians argue whether this was a tribute or a midlife crisis. Either way, Mondstadt's newest deity had the aesthetic of a Renaissance fair performer and the power to flatten mountains. Imagine your entire divine identity being a tribute to your dead friend. It's like getting a tattoo of your college roommate's face and then becoming president. Awkward? Yes. Effective? The Anemo hypostasis seem into it. Freshly minted as an Archon, Barbatos went full Bob Ross on Mondstadt. He shredded the Caribbean storm walls. We don't need those bad vibes. Flattened mountains, happy little plains, and even carved out the Golden Apple Archipelago as a vacation spot for Dvalin, his dragon BFF. The people rejoiced, grass grew, birds sang. Then Barbatos yawned, said, "You're welcome," and peaced out for a 1600-year nap. Without divine oversight, humans did what humans do, invented feudalism. The Lawrence clan took over, turning Mondstadt into a dystopian country club. Peasants? More like unpaid interns. Dissenters were fed to dragons for entertainment. The city's motto became, "Work hard, stay poor, and maybe we will let you breathe tomorrow." Enter Vanessa, a gladiator who fought like a lioness and had the patience of a lit firework. Enslaved by the aristocracy, she sparked a rebellion by winning a rigged tournament and then flipping the script. You want a show? How about I eat the rich? Barbatos, rudely awakened from his divine siesta, helped her forge a contract with Rex Lapis' signature, a move so brazen even Zhongli later admitted, "I respect the audacity." Vanessa's victory birthed the Knights of Favonius, a guild meant to protect Mondstadt. Fast forward a few centuries, and the knights became less noble warriors and more overworked civil servants. Paperwork piled up, hilichurl attacks increased, and Grandmaster Arundolin mysteriously vanished after scribbling, "I need a vacation," in the margins of a tax report. Barbatos' parenting style: "Here's a dragon, some wind, and a lute. Don't burn down the nation." Probably. Centuries later, Dvalin, corrupted by abyss poison, became Storm Terror, a dragon-sized tantrum with wings. Barbatos, now going by Venti, rolled out of a wine barrel to help the traveler calm him. Together, they purified Dvalin in a battle that involved more singing than swordsmanship. but peace lasted about as long as a shot of firewater. Enter La Signora, the Fatui's ice queen with a PhD in petty grudges. She ambushed Venti in a back alley, slapped him like he'd insulted her shoe collection, and stole his gnosis, a divine credit card linking him to Celestia. Venti's reaction? A shrug and a tavern tab. Losing the gnosis wasn't an accident. Venti let it happen. The gnosis was a leash, and Barbatos had been chewing at it for millennia. By surrendering it, he traded power for true freedom, a middle finger to Celestia's puppet masters. Dark humor detour. Venti's Yelp review of the Gnosis heist: 1-star experience, lost my divine cred, gained a concussion, wine helped. Post-Gnosis theft, the Knights of Favonius faced a buffet of disasters. Abyss mages, Fatui skirmishes, and Klee's fish-blasting experiments. Jean, the acting Grand Master, became a caffeine-powered martyr, while Diluc funded a one-man war against the Fatui from his vineyard. Venti helped by performing in taverns, dodging Diluc's death glares, and occasionally dropping cryptic advice like a drunk Yoda. When Dvalin relapsed into corruption, Venti didn't summon hurricanes. He strummed a lyre and reminisced about the good old days. It worked. The dragon sobered up, and Venti faded into the background, leaving behind a trail of empty wine bottles. Mondstadt's strength lies in its lack of a god. Without Venti's meddling, its people learned to fight, govern, and innovate. The city's greatest inventions? Wind gliders, dandelion wine, and Jean's patented "I'm fine" smile. Is Venti a lazy drunk or a tactical mastermind? Reddit r/Genshin lore is divided. Some argue he's a drunken master hiding immense power, others think he's just vibing. The truth? He's both. By playing the fool, he avoids Celestia's radar while nurturing Mondstadt's independence. Venti's legacy isn't in statues or wars, it's in the wind that carries seeds, songs, and secrets. He taught Mondstadt that freedom isn't given, it's taken. And if that means history labels him a failure, he'll toast to it. While other Archons cling to power, Venti wanders, drinks, and pranks Zhongli by replacing his tea with firewater. His epitaph? Here lies Barbatos. He lived fast, died never, and owes Diluc 10,000 mora. So what's the takeaway from Venti's 1600-year-long identity crisis? Simple. Even gods can be disasters. The Anemo Archon is a walking paradox, a deity who preaches freedom but flees from duty, a celestial being who mimics mortality to avoid facing his own immortality, and a hero who'd rather write drinking songs than salvation anthems. Mondstadt thrives not because of him, but despite him. His legacy is a nation built on the irony of freedom, a concept so fragile it required a drunkard's negligence, a dragon's tears, and a dead bard's face to survive. Yet, in his refusal to rule, Venti accidentally did something right. By letting Mondstadt's people stumble, rebel, and grow without divine handholding, he gave them the one thing he couldn't give himself: authentic freedom. Sure, it's messy. Sure, he's a glorified mascot with a wine budget, but hey, if the price of liberty is eternal chaos and a god who serenades tavern rats at 2 a.m., maybe Mondstadt got off cheap. Feeling inspired to embrace your inner hot mess? Grab a lyre or a beer, boot up Genshin Impact, and wander Mondstadt's windswept hills. Pay your respects at the Anemo Archon statue, or just toss an apple at it, because let's face it, Venti would prefer the snack. Dive into his story quests, decode Zhongli's eye rolls during their reunions, and ask yourself, could I do better as a god? Spoiler, probably not, but that's why we are mortals. Join the Reddit debates. Is Venti truly free or just allergic to responsibility? Commission fan art of Dvalin's failed singing career, and remember, next time you skip work to nap, you're not lazy, you're philosophically aligned with an Archon. Now go forth, traveler. The cider's cold, the ballads are off-key, and Celestia knows we're all just faking it anyway.